So I'd just like to share a little anecdote with you that was a real standout moment for me in terms of developing my sound. I was studying with the wonderful violin teacher Maciek Rakowski.
So just more casual. Yeah. Then
we were working on Tchaikovsky violin concerto. Now there's one place where you're playing on the E string, it's finally you're not playing a million notes at once and racing up and down the instrument, but you're just playing melodic material that kind of blossoms, and it's very comfortable and it's a very satisfying moment. And Maciek just was relentless in getting me to use my ears as the guides, but also my brain in taking into consideration all of the various things that go into producing sound and basically experimenting for as long as I could stand. Obviously, I'm using Tchaikovsky Concerto as an example, but this can be applied to any piece you're working on. So when I talk about experimenting, what do I really mean? Taking all of those different components and pushing them to their limits and then kind of backing off from them as much as possible. So if we take one of those examples, it would be bow pressure. I actually like to use the term bow weight more than pressure, because pressure implies that, again, you're gripping hold of the bow, which, as you'll all know, I do not advocate for that. But the weight is kind of sinking as much of your arm weight into the string as possible. So I'm just going to show some examples of using way too much pressure, and then I'm going to back right off and use too little pressure. I'm just going to try to show you how it looks, trying to kind of experiment with those outer dimensions. So what I'm doing when I do that is trying to feel the resonance of the instrument. So it's almost like if you're trying to get your friend to agree with you on something because you really believe in it. You're not going to do it by screaming at your friend and saying, you have to agree with me. You're going to probably be a little bit more successful through explaining and being sensitive to what they think, but being sure in what you think and kind of finding a meeting ground between the two of you. That's how it feels when I'm trying to feel the vibration of the instrument. And then when I feel that it's really resonating as best as possible, then I can start just trying to apply a little bit more pressure. So I'm listening really, really carefully and just feeling the instrument. Sometimes a little bit less vibrato so you can feel the resonance. Now I'm going to go way over the top and use far too much pressure. So pressure, weight, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to basically go too far so the sound starts to strangle and squeeze. The reason you're doing that is you're actually kind of challenging the instrument, and you're also challenging your hands into trying to work out what is the furthest I can go. You have to know what the extremes are in order to know where you sit in the middle to make the most beautiful but projecting sound. So now I'm going to show you going from one extreme to the other and then finding my middle ground. The moral of this story is to experiment with your sound. Don't shortchange your sound, appreciate how important it is, and reserve some of your practice into developing it.